and say good morning and see how everyone is doing. I'm doing so much better. Can y'all see? Y'all can't see. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yesterday, I don't know if y'all heard. If you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen a little bit of this. And if you're not following me on Instagram, follow me over there. It's free. And have you subscribed to this channel yet? Because, you know, that's free too. And we are all about budget living over here. But let me tell you what we're not about. We are not about a storm that blows through and knocks out the power, the internet, and knocks over a tree in my backyard. Oh, y'all. So a storm rolled through about 5:30 yesterday morning, and my alarm goes off at like 5:45, 6 o'clock, depending on, you know, how early I need to, you know, get to the office or if I got to do something else. Okay, so, storm wakes me up before then, so it had to be more like between 5 and 5:30. Y'all, I think they recorded our area for like 80 mile an hour straight line winds. It wasn't a tornado. And that's like a level 1 hurricane force wind. Oh my gosh, y'all. And hail. I could hear the hail beating against my window. I could hear like the trees blowing. Now, I was actually worried about the tree in my front yard because the limbs actually grow like this. And I had a few limbs over my roof, a few limbs over my car. And I was worried about that. I didn't think about the trees in the backyard. So it finally started. It was so loud. The rain and the hail and the wind was so loud. So it finally slowed down and it started to lighten up outside finally. But we had no power. Like the power flickered off and then it came back on. I'm like, whew, okay. So I'm watching the news and they're talking about like this big storm that's going through, and about that time, bam, everything goes off. Everything goes off. So I had to wait for it to lighten up. I mean, I got my flashlight. I'm, you know, going around and I'm waiting for it. Finally, the rain's starting to lighten up. It kind of came in waves. And so I'm going to take, let my dogs out. And I go to my back door where I normally open it to let them out. And there's a tree right there. There's not a tree right there. There's no tree right there. There's, you know, I mean, there's a tree in the backyard, but it's not right there at my door. Y'all, And you go out my back door, and I have these really big, tall trees, right? It knocked the whole top of the tree off, and it fell into my backyard. Thank God it didn't hit the house. It didn't bust a window. I mean, it is by the grace of God, let me tell you. There was a couple limbs that were up on the roof, but they weren't heavy limbs, so they didn't do, like, damage as far as we could tell so far, but I mean, there was no like hole in the roof, thankfully. But I mean, it was inches away from Nick's window, like a tree limb going through his window. Oh, we are so grateful that it just fell into the vacant area in the yard. Oh my gosh. I mean, the whole backyard was covered in tree. Oh, it stressed me out because my power was off, and I'm like, okay, so did the tree knock the power out? And the way our street is set up, from my street back behind me, I think there's 3 streets behind me to the major road, we're on one grid. The people across the street are on a different grid. Those people had power. We didn't have power. So I went outside to walk the dogs in the front yard. My neighbor came out and he asked if I was okay, which I thought was really nice. Asked if he had power. He said no. Immediately, as soon as power went out, I called Encore, who we call when our power was outage. So I called Encore by like 6 a.m. The amounts of people without power. You know, my parents still don't have power. Their power went out at about 6 a.m. yesterday. Yeah, no power. And they actually had tornado activity over in their area. If you search TikTok, you can find a video of tornado activity. I'm going to show you what my backyard looked like. So I'll show you that video here in just a second. It was traumatic. I was so stressed out. So I text my boss and I'm like, hey, I hope everyone's safe. I'm like, I don't have any power. You know, I'm just going to, you know, tree limbs are down. You know, I'm going to, you know, and my boss is like, no, the roads are bad. There's limbs everywhere. Just stay home. So I did. He's like, well, stay home this morning. So it got about noon. I still had no power. There was no ETA on when the power was going to come back. I've got a big green electrical box in my backyard. I didn't know if the power company was going to need to come see that. It was so traumatic. And thankfully, my son and my daughter-in-law, they were safe. They had power. They didn't have internet. And my son came over, my oldest son came over and helped cut a lot of that limb down, so at least it wasn't hanging. So he's going to come back and chop it up so that we can get it moved out to be picked up. And he also chopped some of the tree in the front so that we don't have to worry about, because we still have storms all solid week long, y'all. The whole rest of the week we have storms. But I did finally get out probably about 1 o'clock. I was even nervous to drive. Like, oh my gosh, I was so just stressed and panicked, and oh my goodness. There was a big tree limb out in my road. But I got, and I looked online, and people were saying some of the restaurants were open. So I drove around the corner, went to Jack in the Box, picked Nick and I up some lunch, I think right about 1 o'clock. And I was driving back through the neighborhood, and there's people that had it so much worse than me. There was an apartment community that had a tree that fell, and it fell right into somebody's apartment. Like, you could see their apartment, y'all. Oh, it was so stressful. So I wanted to get out like a video on like Nick's graduation and stuff, and I've got some pictures of him graduating. I've got some video of him on his last day of school. So I haven't put that together yet. So I'm going to do that. So you'll see that next. So you'll watch that. Y'all have gotten to see Nick grow up on my channel. So y'all watch for that. But I'm going to let you see the video of my backyard before we cut the limb. And when we get it all cut and fixed, I will, I'll show you what that, I'll do short and show you the after. So I think we're going to take a whole tree down. But I am so thankful for my son and my daughter-in-law for coming over and helping get that tree down. That stressed me out to no end. And when they came over, I took my daughter-in-law, we went and picked up some food, and we came back, the power was on. Thank God the power was on. Made me feel so much better. The internet didn't come on at all last night. I woke up this morning, I turned my hotspot on, and I woke up this morning and it actually finally was back on. So internet's back on. So that's good. So watch this, the clip of my backyard. Y'all are not going to believe it. So just look at that and think if that had hit my house, hit my roof, I wouldn't be there right now. But those of you that said little prayers, I heard about it, that checked on me, I appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all remember to thank God for today, because after yesterday, it truly is a gift. And I'll see you in the next clip.